It's your lucky day. Yes, that's right. Today is your lucky day because guess what? You are getting older. Yes, and aging, it's a gift, you know. We should be so lucky to get older. It's a privilege. And don't get me wrong, while I'm being a bit sarcastic, I am a huge fan of aging. I have been aging since the day I was born, and so far it's worked out really well for me. When people sing the praises and advantages of getting older, getting wiser, I find it interesting that they always seem to fail to mention all of the things that you're going to acquire with age. Millions of dollars? Oh, no. A garage full of Maseratis, Bugattis, Ducatis? No. None of those fancy, expensive Italian cars for you. Instead, what you will likely acquire, although not everyone is as privileged to get these, but many do, and that is liver spots, otherwise known as barnacles on the ship of life. Now, I have a video, which you should definitely check out because it'll keep you on the edge of your seat, all about how we remove seborrheic keratoses, which is the medical term for liver spots. These large, waxy, brown, sort of warty, stuck-on bump that can happen on your chest, your stomach, your back, your face, common with age. But in today's video, we're going to talk about a variant of the liver spot, if you will, called a Stucco Keratosis. In contrast to seborrheic keratoses, which are large and in charge and often on the torso, the body, these are much smaller and they happen on the lower legs, the ankles, and the tops of your feet. They're called Stucco Keratoses because they kind of look like stucco. They're not brown, but rather this sort of light gray, and they're often very dry in appearance. Now, don't freak out because Stucco Keratoses, like seborrheic keratoses, are not dangerous. They're not cancerous. They don't herald any sort of impending doom. They're not a warning sign of some devastating illness. They're just acquisitions, if you will, on the ship of life. So you don't need to freak out, and not only are they not dangerous, but you don't have to do anything about them. That is an option here. I say that because not everything has to be treated, but it can be, and we'll get into how to get rid of them in a moment. For whatever reason, Stucco Keratoses are a lot more common in men. We don't know why we get them. We don't really know why they form. We can do a little digging, do a little research on the bench, and find that there are certain gene mutations that these bumps seem to have acquired along the way. But what that means, we don't really know. It's not something that we're going to target with any kind of therapy, so it's just science factoids that we have out there floating around in the medical research that maybe in the future will guide us somewhere of significance. All that to say, like I said, they're not dangerous. We don't really know why they happen. For whatever reason, they're a lot more common in men than women, although women can get them too. They seem to be possibly brought out by repetitive friction, trauma to the skin, which makes a lot of sense. The ankles, they clank together. There's a lot of rubbing going on there, your socks, your shoes. So I suppose that makes some sense. And honestly, seborrheic keratoses, they're kind of related to, in a way, skin tags, acrocordons, which are these growths that often happen in areas of repeated friction, like under the arms or the folds of the neck. Similar to seborrheic keratoses, if you were to take an old credit card or that grocery store rewards club savings card that these days doesn't seem to be saving you anything, if you were to take that and scrape, these will pop off. I don't suggest doing that. Please don't do that. Why? Because you can cause a lot of irritation and put yourself at risk for infection. And let me tell you, the lower legs, the tops of the feet, the ankles don't heal very efficiently, especially as we get older, but just in general, especially the shins. Let me tell you, the engineering on the shins was something that was done at the last minute as far as the blood supply, because it's just not the most logical in my opinion. But nobody asked me in the design and execution of the human lower leg. I digress. Yeah, don't go picking, stabbing, poking, prodding, because you could give yourself an infection. But I'm sure you've already picked at them anyway, and they might just flake off with, rubbing of your shoe or your sock. And what you'll notice if that happens is that the skin left behind, there's like a little small pinkish circle of sort of baby looking skin with a surrounding collar of scaly stuff. And then, surprise, surprise, it grows right back. Yes, it does. Now, if you were to take that little warty, dry, flaky stuff, send it to the lab to be processed, and then turned into something that can be put on a microscope slide, and you look at it under the microscope, it's going to appear as what is described as a church spire. I'll show you a picture here. You see that? That wavy stuff looks like a church spire. If you're to biopsy normal skin elsewhere, like on your arm or your leg, it's not going to have that, okay? It's not going to have that kind of warty appearance. That's what they look like, and they grow right back because it seems like there's just some little nest of cells there that have this abnormal genetic behavior now to grow these little bumps. Most likely you're interested in, is there anything that you can do to get rid of them? I suggest considering incorporating a moisturizer with either urea or salicylic acid. Eucerin Advanced Repair Lotion has urea. Cetaphil SA Gentle Exfoliating Lotion has salicylic acid. Use these moisturizers 2-3 times a day to the area. They're keratolytic, those ingredients, so they get in there and they soften that, hydrate it, and help it to smooth out and flake off gently without, traumatizing your skin. So that's definitely an option just to kind of keep them at bay. It doesn't get rid of them or anything like that, but it does help improve their appearance, make them less noticeable. Now, if you really want to get intense, you want to kick that up a notch, I also suggest using petroleum jelly, surprise, surprise, my favorite ingredient, and applying it to these before putting on like your socks, especially if you wear ankle socks or you have shoes that rub in the area, to lubricate the skin, cut down on that friction. Speaking of petroleum jelly, here's where you can really take things to another level. And you kind of have to be careful because this can be intense, but it definitely can help. You know that Carousel Intensive Repair foot ointment I'm always bragging about whenever I talk about how to get rid of callus on the feet, dry cracked heels? Yeah, well, that is a petrolatum ointment that contains urea and salicylic acid. It is intensive because it's in that petroleum jelly base, which really allows for better substantivity on the skin and penetration of those ingredients. So what you can do is get this foot ointment and get like a little Q-tip and just get the tiniest dot, enough to spread a very thin film on just the bump, not the whole area, just the bumps themselves, okay? No need to do this everywhere because it can be pretty irritating. And then I suggest covering the area with like some gauze and doing this at night before you go to bed and sleeping that way. When you wake up the following morning, remove the gauze and wash the area off. It will really help to soften and allow that to flake off, those spots to flake off and smooth out, okay? It is a lot more intense. Now, after a while, once these flatten out, then this isn't something that you need to do every day, but you might want to lean into like the urea or salicylic acid lotions that I mentioned. The Eucerin and Cetaphil ones are examples. They're not the only ones out there, but they're examples as sort of maintenance. So that would be what you could do starting today at home safely to help improve the appearance of these. Now, if you go to your dermatologist and say, I want you to get rid of these, what options are available? There are actually a lot. First of all is liquid nitrogen. That little freezing spray, which let me tell you, liquid nitrogen is like one of our best friends because it's inexpensive and we use it to get rid of a lot of little skin growths because it's basically freezing the skin. And for a benign, non-cancerous skin lesion like a Stucco Keratosis, you can direct that liquid nitrogen spray just to the spot, freeze it, let it thaw, freeze it again, let it thaw, and that'll just destroy those cells that make up that little bump. And in the next couple of days, it'll flake off, blister up, fall off. You'll have a little sore spot there for a couple of days and then the skin will heal over, and this can actually get rid of it. Your dermatologist might need to repeat this, however, like a week later, but it can be very effective. Not always. There is a high recurrence rate, but that's an option. Then your dermatologist might come in with a curette. This is a special tool that can help flick these off in a safe manner. I don't suggest flicking them off yourself, but your derm can come in with this tool called a curette and curette them off. Using a curette also sort of scoops out the little nidus of cells that would otherwise grow the bump back, as opposed to getting your credit card and picking it off. That little focus of cells is still going to be there. Then you have another tool in the dermatologist toolbox. It's really helpful, that electrosurgical tool, and we can electrodesiccate them. Basically zap with a little electrical zap, fry the cells that make up that bump, and similar to liquid nitrogen, it'll fall off in a couple of days, and it can get the base so that it doesn't come back. It may come back, recurrences are possible, but that's another option. Recently, as in this past week, I did a video on something called photodynamic therapy, where your derm would apply a photosensitizing reagent to the skin, allow it to soak into those bumps for a while, and then expose the treated area to select wavelengths of visible light to create a photochemical reaction that generates reactive oxygen species to destroy the cells that compromise those little Stucco Keratosis bumps, and that can get rid of it. It's kind of a lot, can be very painful and uncomfortable, but that is something that can be effective as well. Chemical peels might also be offered. Chemical peels, sort of a similar approach to the idea of using salicylic acid or urea, but a lot more intense, could be utilized as well. There's also a topical medication called Aldera that we use to treat warts, but that medication can help to get rid of these as well. Not always successful, but for some people they do get good and sustained results. Keep in mind, any treatment for these recurrences are possible. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to say with regards to Stucco Keratosis, a type of liver spot or barnacle on the ship of life, sort of a variant of seborrheic keratosis. Speaking of which, I know, you are a thrill seeker, okay? I know. So, on the end slate, I'm going to link my video all about seborrheic keratosis removal. You're going to want to watch that one next. It'll make your day, trust me. Just click on my smiling face on that thumbnail as it's going to pop up and it'll take you right to the video. But if you guys like this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.